Peace, my family, and raw back to all those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time. Welcome. This your girl, the butterfly. We about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all that good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right. And that good mind. All right, now. I came in here today to express. And when you're going on this good journey within, family, and this is sharing just my experiences, right? You're going on this good journey and how, your first eye becomes open, right? Okay. And this is just what happened to me, right? And everybody has their own experiences. And this is just what happened with me. And it's always good to share because you can learn from everybody, right? Okay. So, along my journey, I was always reading and studying. I read and study a lot. And, of course, reading and studying the right knowledge. And as I went on and studied a lot of our master teacher's scrolls and did my research and investigation, things like that, through time, it began to open my eyes, open my eyes, right? Now, I worked like in 2009, right? So I didn't have my, awakening, third eye moment opening, until about 2016. So that was like 7 years later, right? So that was 7 years later, right? And depending on, I guess, how it all goes, right? It wasn't that I was trying to, in a way open my third eye. I wasn't necessarily trying to do that, right? It just sort of happened. And the thing is, it was just like, I knew that, I'm just going to say this. My encounter, right? I knew that they were around me. I can, feel the energy. And this is a time when I was, because I like to read over and over again. Sometimes I read books over and over again, right? And this is a time when I was reading the Quran over again at that time. And, in the middle of reading the Quran, it was just like, that's when I, was on my smoothies. I was on my smoothies like super duper strong at that time. And at that time, I guess they felt as if I was ready, to have my first eye be open because I felt like someone touched me, and then all of a sudden, it was just like my first eye began to start to tingle. It started to tingle. Really hard, really strong, really heavy, just tingling, just keep tingling. And from then on, it was just like, wow, it just started to get real heavy out of nowhere. Real heavy, like real heavy. And then after that, I was like, whoa, what was happening, right? And again, I told y'all that I was reading, right, the Quran. So it was just like, what's going on? But I remember I hadn't read a whole bunch of stuff Quran before, years back and things like that. I was just doing the refreshing. And again, they were just reminding me, okay? So then after that, it was just like, that's when I began to see. And when I was looking around, I began to see the Netta room all over the walls. And it was just like, the writing was on the wall type of thing. Everything was on the walls. and I began to see clear and begin to see depictions of them clearly, like if I'm just looking at a picture on TV, right? And it was just clear as day in my room. And so it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But at first, I didn't know what was going on because I was just looking like, oh, wow. And so I began to see my guardian angels, and they were all white with unks, like golden unks, just lit up, okay? And I was just looking around like, wow, this is so beautiful. At the same time, had a little bit of anxiety because I was just like, what's happening here? What's happening? And after that, it was just like, oh, wow. And so after that happened, I was just in the daze for like, a couple weeks, maybe even a month, right? I was in the daze because it was just like, wow. And it wasn't going away. It wasn't something that, just went away after a while. It was, you can see it, you wake up again, it's still there, everything's, like, whoa. So I knew that they were trying to communicate with me, right? And at the time, I was just trying to figure out what was going on, but I couldn't really come up with what to say this time because really I was speechless. And I was like, I didn't even know what to say. But at that time, it was beautiful because I began to see, the angel Gabriel, right, depicted in like the holy tablets, how they have it in the holy tablet. I began to see him in like an etheric state before go furthermore into the physical realm and become solid, more like in a gaseous state, right? Not a gaseous state, excuse me, more like a liquid state. Yeah, that's right, liquid. It was liquid, and it was beautiful depiction, right? And he was telling me that he was here with me, right? And it was crazy because at the time when I was reading the Quran, it was like a chapter in it at the time, and he told me, I just heard his voice, and he was just telling me, read, keep reading, read. And when I began to read, it told me exactly why he was there. And he told me to continue to keep reading, and he told me to, just keep reading. Because when I read what he wanted me to read, continue to read, it was just like, he told me that's the reason right here, for protection and things like that, right? So it was all around me, right? And that's why they were there. And it gave a full description of, what happens and why they're there. So I was like, okay, now I can calm down. Because again, if you don't know what's happening, you're looking around like, wait a minute, what's going on, right? And yeah, all of that. So I'm not going to sit here and say like, I was literally looking like, what's going on for real? And yeah, so that gave me more comfort in it, right? So I was just like, okay, cool. And it was just like, wow. So after that, I just, from then on, that's when my third eye open experience happened. And then on, it was just like, they let me know that they're always here with me and I'm never alone, right? So that was a beautiful experience for me. And so I'm telling you this. As you begin to raise your consciousness levels with the right knowledge and begin to read, people wonder why you have to read and study, on this journey, because that's what you're going to need to know, this information later. You're going to need to know. Now, you may not know it fully. I'm not one of the people that know how to fully break it down like our master teacher. Like, what? Really? Okay. But I can break it down to the best of my ability on my experiences and what happened. Now, as far as the breakdown of the actual scrolls and things like that, that's why I read them, because I can't break it down how our master teacher breaks it down, right? That everybody has their part, everybody has their place, and it's teachers out here and students out here that's out here doing the thing. I'm just saying that for me, I'm just doing what I was told to do. And this is what I was told to do, just speak the truth, right? That's what I'm doing. And I'm just listening to what I was told to do. So that's that. And to the best of my ability, if you begin to read and study, you understand what I'm talking about, right? So the time. And yeah, so as I began to do that, I realized like through time it was just like I had a lot of synchronistic experiences, a lot of many different types of